Hello everyone, I just wanted to give a short demonstration on some of the unique features of Matlibplot um, to highlight some of the capabilities and how I think it could be a good replacement for the strip chart analyzer. So I have two graphs here. So it's basically a subplot, top and bottom. These points are hard-coded currently just for demonstration purposes. But if you look in the bottom left, there's some key features that come built into the figure as well. So we have, let's start with the up, down, left, right arrow. I can click that and kind of move left and right on my plot to move and pan to get a better idea of what data I want to look at or whatnot like that. And then I can click it again to untoggle it, and then I can click this magnifying glass to be able to pan zoom, this is a huge feature I would say that's built in already. And then I can zoom in again, and I can keep zooming on these plots to see multiple points, and then I can untoggle that, so now I can't zoom in on any of those points. And there's a little bit of customization that can happen because everybody has their own specific preferences. You can configure your subplots, so you can choose some of these sliders to make some things bigger, smaller, or whatever it may be. For each individual, that's something that they can do. It's like a personal setting. And then you can also save the figure, which this is something that is kind of common, where you might have some weird data or want to show the data to the customer to be able to get a certain point across clearly. And you can either use the snipping tool, that's currently what we do, or you can also save the figure just in case you need to recall it at a later time as well. And then as well, over here on the left-hand bottom side, closer to the edge of the screen, we have the front, forward and backwards arrow. This is to basically go step by step backwards of what you did. It basically recalls each operation that you've done previously back until your initial starting point. But I've had this open for a little bit, so it doesn't have an initial starting point right now. And then if I want to reset and go back to my original view, I can press this home button down at the bottom, and this is where some of the key features I think come in handy. There's keyboard shortcuts for these already pre-installed. So if I want to, let's say I want to pan a little bit, which is the up, down, left, right arrow, I press P and it's toggled, and then I can do the panning feature, and it shows up as it's toggled down here in the bottom left. And then I can do all my toggling, press P when I'm done, and I'm like, oh, I want to zoom in. So then I would press O, and then I can start doing my zooming, which is toggle as well. You can see in the bottom left, and I can do any zooming I need, and I'm done with it. I can press O. Now I can't zoom in anymore, and I'm like, oh, now I want to go back to my original state. I can press H, and it brings me back there. So these are some of the features. You can also use it for the arrows as well. You can use the back. You can either use backspace, or you can use the arrow keys as well for that. So I think implementing more keyboard shortcuts will basically allow engineers and other people that have to look at data regularly to be able to do it more quickly, because if you just learn some of these simple intuitive tools, you can basically be able to get through more data faster. And then as well, that some of these options can also be hard-coded as well. Like the grid is one of them. So if I press G once, it gives me my vertical. If I press it again, it gives me my horizontals. And I can do this on both. And then I would press G twice again to bring them back or to take them away. But as well, if I don't click on, if my mouse cursor is not on that and I press G, it does not recognize a graph, and it will not put your grid functions. And then I can take them away. And those would be some of the key features, and I believe these would help shorten the amount of time it takes to use some of the tools to check some of the data that we currently have, especially the panning, because currently we would have to choose our endpoints. So currently my endpoints right now are 1 and 5, but if I wanted to keep going past that, because I'm zoomed in, I can still do that. Whereas in strip chart analyzer, there's a lot more buttons you'd have to press to get there and be able to do what you want, because you'd have to find your cursor if you're on an awkward point, and you might have to do change your endpoints and maybe even your y-axis as well, so that could take a lot more time. And then also, if you look down in my bottom right, you can see X and Y. I currently have it plotting my mouse location on these plots. So if I go to this 315 point and I, in theory, put it, straight in the middle, it would give us X equals 3 and Y equals 15. This is just a simple function that currently is put in just to show that, hey, we can get the point by placing cursor there as well. I would like to make it snap to fit as well. I think and so you wouldn't have any of those decimal places unless the point actually had that. This will be the end of my short tutorial. Thank you for watching.